And welcome back to Comic Frontline, everybody. I am Brent Fowler, aka the Gonzogoose, back with you to continue my reviews of Dark Cybertron, Transformers Dark Cybertron from IDW Publishing. This is the big crossover of the two main Transformers titles. This review is going to be of Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, number 26. This issue, like the entire series, is written by James Roberts and John Barber, art by James Raiz, Atilio, Rojo, and Livio Ramondelli. This issue, we see Starscream get encountered by the entire group of everybody else. Trying to totally just blank because it's two splinter groups. I do apologize. So many Transformers to keep track of. Starscream is approached by a certain group of Autobots and Decepticons, while the rest of them are with Prowl and Bumblebee and Megatron and Soundwave, but the rest of them are over here. So you got two different groups going. When Starscream is approached, he's like kind of whining a little bit about, you know, how everything that he's always wanted is falling apart, and this disease, you know, that he's been hit by the NECROTITAN is spreading across him, and he's just being all depressed and down and whiny. And the group of Autobots and Decepticons come along, and they're like, you know, you need to suck it up and, you know, get on with this, decide whether you're just going to lay down and die or if you're going to stand up and fight for, you know, Cybertron and everything. So, you know, it was a little, the whining was a little overdone, and the, you know, pick-me-up speech was a little underdone. So, whatever. The intent behind it was really nice, but I think it could have been handled a little bit better. So, meanwhile, you have Bumblebee showing up with Megatron, who is still cut in half, and you know, he's like ready to take leadership back, and he's like, you know, I'm gonna do what I did 4 million years ago. I'm gonna stand up and defend my people. And, you know, Bumblebee's like, no you're not, because, you know, we've learned from our mistakes, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna win. So, you know, that kind of plays out throughout the entire issue as they go back and forth. And, you know, of course, Prowl's like, you bring Megatron into this? I already have to work with Soundwave. And, you know, meanwhile, in the dead universe, you still have Orion Pax and Rodimus, and they're going at Nova and all this stuff. And meanwhile, Rodimus is kind of one. He's like, don't you want to know what these numbers mean on my hand? Prime, listen to me, pay attention to me. And Prime's like, I don't really have time for this. But, you know, he's trying to tell him, you know, I did this vote, and 89 of them, you know, said no to me. They wanted me gone, so I carved this in my hand for that reason, and yada yada yada. And Optimus is like, you should have just stepped down. You should have resigned. He was like, really? I was hoping for a pep talk. And he's like, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna make you feel better about it. So it was this forced thing that made Rodimus once again look like this whiny little baby that needs to be coddled, and I hate that, because I don't think that's the kind of character he is. Especially once he took on the name Rodimus, he became a different character. Whatever. You know, him and Starscream, just this issue, I did not like the way they were written. And then on Metroplex, you have that group led by Ultra Magnus, still trying to figure out what's going on. You have these two female Autobots there, and we learned that they were with Alpha Trion at first, and they decided to stay back and protect Metroplex, that he's still alive and everything, and they're trying to get him back up and going and everything. Honestly, this issue was probably the worst issue of this entire event that I've read, and this was part 8, chapter 8, I think it was. It was either chapter 8 or chapter 9. I think it was chapter 8. And I think the art felt a little bit rushed to me. It was like, you know, things are trucking along, we got to get these issues done in the can and everything. It just wasn't as crisp and as polished as it has been in previous issues. And as you know, throughout this series, I've had little problems with part of the art. We have 3 different artists working on this. You have 3 different areas, 3 different places that these battles are taking place. You have the Metroplex stuff, which started in space, and you have well, not in space, but on the spaceship on the Lost Light. Then you have the Dead Universe stuff, and you have the stuff on Cybertron. So you have these different depictions, but all of them across the board in this issue I felt kind of suffered. They were kind of undone, very rushed drawings throughout, and it was kind of disappointing in that regard. The writing again felt very forced, very rushed, very chaotic. If I hadn't been reading this whole thing, I would have been totally lost on what was going on, because it just was not pieced together very well at all. And it's kind of making me fear for the rest of the story. But if we're already getting that rushed sense, and we're only 2/3 of the way through the story. But yeah, this definitely was not the best issue of this whole event. By the end of it, we see where things are going with the battle on Cybertron. It's kind of where we leave off. These 2 giant robots about to go at it, and if this was definitely kind of a filler issue. It was kind of a, okay, we got to get from here to here, and in the process we have to kind of possibly redeem Starscream or not, possibly they had to get various characters to a certain point to jump into the last part of the story, I guess. But to me, it was just pieced together poorly and didn't come together quite as well as previous issues. So I won't say it was a bad issue. I mean, it wasn't like total, oh, this was the worst thing I've ever read, but it just wasn't up to par with the rest of the story. So for Transformers More Than Meets the Eye number 26, I am going to give this one a 3 out of 5, which I believe is the lowest score that I've given an issue in this entire story so far. So there you go. So that's going to wrap up this review. Check out all the other reviews and all the other series, all the other shows, all the other promos, all the stuff we have coming right here on Comic Frontline. We're heading into launch week, official launch week, so it's going to be a blast. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. Got big things planned, for the future. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So be on the lookout for all of that. And please, if you have not hit subscribe to Comic Frontline, so you get all this stuff in your sub box each and every day as videos start to flow in. Check out comicfrontline.com, which is the blog spot for Comic Frontline. It's the written side of the site where there's all kinds of written reviews, articles, press releases, previews, all that kind of stuff over there. And comicrelated.com, which updates 365 days a year, multiple updates a day. We've been really trying to fill out some original content over there as well. You can find comic news, podcast reviews, webcomics columns, and so much more over there. Please listen to the Zone 4 podcast every Friday on zone4podcast.com, comicrelated.com, and Comic Frontline. Right here, as of February 14th, the episode 265 from that point on will be right here on Comic Frontline as well. So I think that covers everything that I want to mention. So in closing, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.